president says that he's excited about the release of thousands of documents related to John F. Kennedy's assassination.
President Donald Trump's tweet on the eve of the release did not tip his hand. He merely noted that the files are coming out and added, quote, "So interesting." Many are hoping they'll provide new insight into Kennedy's murder 54 years ago in Dallas, although they are not expected to answer the question that many people have, whether someone other than Lee Harvey Oswald was involved.
More than a month after Hurricane Maria struck, 3/4 of Puerto Rico still without power. Now questions are being raised about the two-person energy company that's been awarded a $300 million no-bid contract to help restore electricity. Whitefish Energy has a handful of ties to the Trump administration. The mayor of San Juan is engaged in a Twitter battle with Whitefish, questioning whether they can handle the job. Whitefish insists the main reason it won the deal is because it was willing to accept much less money up front than the other company under consideration. A
pastor in southern Minnesota is facing charges for impersonating a police officer and using pepper spray on a teenager he caught shoplifting. 55-year-old Keith Haskell of Owatonna also faces misdemeanor assault charges. Some court documents state last month he tried to make a citizen's arrest on the two teenagers, one of whom told us Haskell acted aggressively while claiming to be a cop. WCCO's Jeff Wagner has the teenager's side of the story, as well as Haskell's attorney.
Our car was parked right here, and his car was not even parked really. It was like trying to trap us in, like, so we couldn't leave.
17-year-old Abram Rodriguez is talking about Keith Haskell, the man who, according to court documents, tailed him after his cousin admittedly shoplifted about $10 worth of snacks from a grocery store. Haskell saw it happen.
He's like, put your hands up, I'm a cop. I need you to get out of the vehicle or whatever.
In the documents, witnesses living nearby told officers that Haskell was trying to pull the teenagers out of the SUV and said out loud that he was an officer. When Rodriguez's cousin stepped out, things turned physical.
Like, the most vivid memory would be him pepper spraying my cousin, because it just wasn't called for at all.
In the documents, Haskell, who is actually a pastor at Bridges of Hope Community Church in Owatonna, told officers at the scene he used the pepper spray in self-defense. He also admitted he was holding a baton.
I was actually pretty scared, because if he was a cop, and you see all those videos about like cops, police brutality and stuff.
Haskell's attorney released a statement saying, quote, "The police investigation is absurd and flawed. My client was the victim. We will fight these allegations in the courts." Even though Rodriguez's cousin did commit a crime, he wishes actual police would have caught them, not Haskell.
Like, if he would have called the cops, it would have been better. Like, if he would have just called them and they would have came to talk to us, it would have been a way better situation.
Jeff Wagner, WCCO 4 News.
Haskell is due in court on November 30th. We tried to contact him yesterday, and he referred all comments to his attorney.
15 years after the death of Senator Paul Wellstone, Senator Al Franken breaks down on the Senate floor as he remembers a man he considers a mentor and a source of inspiration.
That's how Paul voted in the Senate, too, putting ordinary Minnesotans ahead of politics, money, and influence.
Wellstone was killed in a plane crash that also claimed the life of his wife Sheila, his daughter Marcia, and 3 campaign aides and 2 pilots. Yesterday marked 15 years since the crash, which happened just 11 days before the 2002 election. In the days after his death, DFLers nominated former Vice President Walter Mondale to run in his place. Mondale ended up losing to the Senate race to Norm Coleman. Now, Wellstones Legacy now also lives on in the St. Paul office of Wellstone Action. The nonprofit group bearing his name puts young staffers to work on progressive campaigns in Minnesota and across the country.
Hennepin County officials are honoring the first responders who helped save lives after the Minnehaha Academy explosion.
While most of the people at the school were wisely running away from the building, police officers and firefighters ran towards the danger.
A gas leak sparked the explosion last August, killing 2 employees, injuring 9 others. One of the many people honored yesterday was Officer Dean Milner. He and his partner rescued a man from a pile of burning rubble.
You know, at that moment, something was overwhelming to me where I just thought, you know what, if I don't live through this, Lord, I just hope that my kids understand why we did this.
Demolition of this century-old building should be done by Thanksgiving. Minnehaha Academy plans to rebuild a 21st century upper school campus.